Hello and welcome back, this is ProTailDev, back with another update video, and this one is on Turtle Trial's recent update, the combat update, also known as the Bite Back update. So this update was a huge success. I'm really happy I got it out. Yeah, things have been a complete success. I'm really happy with them. As you can see, this update is just kind of talking about all the things that I've added. There's quite a lot of changes and fixes, but I'm just going to skim over some of the details and kind of go over it a little bit, and then look at the next update coming. So if I just quickly go into the update section, which is a new thing in this update, I've added an area where you can see all the next updates details and all the patch notes. So yeah, all the patch notes are here, all of the information, which you don't usually see a lot of the times in other games. But yeah, this is a lot of information that you can access straight in the game. You don't see it a lot usually, so this is quite nice, I think, rather than having to go online to find out specific details. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of that's been changed, quite a lot that's been added, quite a lot that's been fixed. And this was a huge undertaking. There's been over 500 downloads, installs and plays, so I'm really happy with that, especially since Turtle Trial is my first game releasing. But yeah, released on Xbox, PC, on itch.io as well. It was all free. So the next thing I want to show quickly is I talked about in the last video, which is Scrooge Redemption has been closed for now. That is because it's a little bit too buggy, a little bit too has too many crashes and too many issues with it. As I said in the previous video, it was adapted from my a game jam that I did, and so it was had quite a lot of issues with it. So now it's been put away, it's locked, you can't access it. It's probably best to just delete all the data for now. Hard mode has also been changed. With all the new enemies that have been added to the game, I've also changed the hard mode with a ton of new enemies. It's much harder. The fear meter is much more deadly in the hard mode, and you've got a little bit less health and stuff. Let's just quickly go into it, and I'll quickly go through some of the big features. So first thing you're going to notice very briefly when this loads is very briefly there was a tooltip, which was something that was recommended to me by a friend of mine who said, we could do with a tooltip to tell us what to do. It gives us a little bit of quick insight, and so that's what I've done. I've added the tooltip in to kind of give a little bit of advice. Obviously it loads really quickly because I'm in the editor, and I've got a fast PC and so on. Anyway, you've started up, you've got, notice the first thing straight away is the consumables at the bottom left. So you can access through those, but you can't activate them. And to get those you need to actually craft. Crafting will allow you to get those, which is quite nice. You'll also need, so these things also have like limited effects, so let me just quickly go in here. Another thing you'll notice is this is probably the first time in a while since I've been in the editor and had a video on it. That is mainly because I decided to leave the development stuff for this game so that I could pioneer straight through all the updates. So up to release you saw development all the way up to pretty much release. After that all the updates have been kind of behind the scenes. So here we go. So one of the big things was, like I said, the food, which you can change. I'll just change on here just temporarily, which is quite nice. And as you can see, 55, didn't want to do that. As you can see, they're all up here with the new bar. Tells you all the food balls, which is what I call them. And obviously there's no change with the exchange system, but there's now 40 upgrades that you can get, as opposed to the 21 that there initially was. Actually, that's almost double the upgrades you can get. There's now a new bar here which tells you when you unlock them, which I tried my best to make it as clear as possible. We've obviously got the new category, which is crafting, which allow you to craft these food balls. We've now removed one of the one of the abilities, because it wasn't really necessary, and it's been changed in, I think it's this one. Let me quickly change it. So if I just quickly do this, say it to 500, and let's give ourselves 5,000 skill points. As you can see, it was this one. This one's been changed now to have a different effect. I won't go over these the upgrades, as it's something you can kind of do yourself and go through them. But if I quickly get the crafting extension upgrade, this will allow us to do the crafting. And as you can see, there's a bunch of upgrades that allow you to do different things. You can go into the upgrades island, into the crafting island extension, and you can craft, and it brings up this UI which it'll tell you all the different effects, the immediate effects, the continuous effects of these food balls. So let's just come out there. And another thing you'll notice immediately is at the bottom right, there is a new bar, which is, I mentioned it before, the fear bar, or the sanity bar in other games. Essentially, when you're in the water, you'll be feeling uncomfortable and you'll slowly drain the fear. You'll slowly lose sanity, essentially. If you're encountering an enemy, that'll stack on top of that, so you'll obviously be afraid if they're in close proximity. And if you're at night time, it'll also increase quite a lot. So all these effects stack onto each other. So if you're being chased at night time in the water, close proximity with an enemy, it'll all stack up, so you'll slowly lose fear. If fear does drop, so if I quickly change it now to make it so that fear does drop, let's set this to 5, so really close to the end there. And once it gets to 0, what will happen is that you will enter a stage where you're afraid, basically completely afraid, and your hunger will drop very, very quickly. It's not immediate, so you don't die instantly, but as you can see, you'll get a little bit of a visual cue on the screen, so a little bit of a white mist will surround the screen. And what will happen here is, as you can see, the food's draining. Now, if we're going to hurry this along, bear in mind that if you're damaged, you obviously need to heal anyway, so this is even worse if you're actually taking damage at the same time, or have lost your armor, you're just trying to heal. This will pretty much kill you, because obviously your hunger will just keep draining even if you eat. So getting your sanity up is very, very important. While that's draining, I'll talk a little bit about how to recover it. So to recover it, all you do is you actually go onto an island. Once you're on an island, you will recover your sanity, your fear will recover, you'll feel more comfortable. However, the thing about this is that what's most interesting is if you go to your home island, it'll actually recover faster, and the more upgrades you have, the quicker you will recover your fear while you're on the home island. So your home island is very, very important, especially if you have things like the hunger upgrade and the health upgrade, which will heal and gain hunger, slow hunger down. This is huge for things like fear. This is much more severe in the hard mode, as you'd expect. So there you go, now I've hit 0 hunger, and I'm starving to death. So once you starve to death, it'll ignore your shields and you'll just die. So there you go. It's just coming to night time, which is good because I can show off the next thing that was a big change / add, is that night time's a little bit more scarier. That was a quite fun little change. Now it's much more creepier. So what I'm going to do while I explore a little bit is I'm also going to talk about, while you see the creepy night, is the upgrades for the abilities. So I don't want to go into too much detail because I want you to explore it yourself, but there are 3 main abilities. You have the teleport home, which is the hardest one to get in this explore tree. You also have, in the explore tree, you have the reserved boost, which is just a boost, and then if you get the upgraded version, it's a heal as well as a boost. Then of course you have the bites, and of course, akin to the combat update, the bite back update, you have a way of now attacking enemies and killing them. Now bear in mind, this attack isn't exactly what you'd expect from attack. You can't just go and chase enemies around and then kill them and then move on to the next enemy. This is more of a defensive mechanism. It's a way of getting rid of enemies if you're trapped on an island. So if they're, like for example here right now, what I'm going to do quickly is buy this first upgrade, which is the big bite, and then if I just quickly attack and do this. Oh, I wasn't close enough. Bear in mind, you do have to be quite close. I'm just going to get the upgraded version just to make it a little bit easier. And then just do that. So as you can see, you can attack them. and this is more of a way of just ridding yourself of enemies that are near you. They will respawn over time, so once you do that, you'll notice immediately I get an objective complete notification. So this was another thing that I added. So there's a bunch of new objectives now. I won't go over them in detail, but it's a ton of new objectives with some of the new features like crafting and things, and some of the new stuff like the boss fight, which I've now included. So there's now, part of this update was there's now a final boss fight. You'll need to complete it in order to actually escape this area, and of course you still need to complete all objectives to escape, to get access to the escape route, but you need to complete a boss fight, and you're going to need those food balls in order to be able to fight. So with all these new objectives, there's now the new notification system, which is quite nice. As you can see, it's now nighttime, so you can see how creepy it is. You have the little eyes that appear in the darkness. But as you can see, you can now, it's much more creepier. I'm just going to, didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to quickly get the nighttime upgrade, and I'm going to give myself a sneak peek of the night ball. So I'm just going to give myself a night ball, which I think I've already, no I haven't done. Let's give myself a night ball, let's give myself 2, and then let's activate it. There we go, much better. So as you can see, the night ball is very nice, especially with the nighttime upgrade. I'm taking damage at the moment, and that's because I think I was hit by a shark somewhere. But what I'm going to do now is show you another thing that I've changed, that I've added, and that is the lore books. So the lore logs are now still the same. You still collect them, you still have them. However, what you want to do is you can now listen to it instead. So I'm just going to play this just to see, so that you can hear it, and then I'll carry on exploring a little bit. I'll stay quiet for a second, and then you can, kind of listen, take in, kind of get a good grasp of what it is. That way you don't have to read it, now you can just listen to it.
Colin Ridley of Magic Protection Log 1, a disturbing find.
As one of the nation's top magic researchers, I have uncovered some disturbing truths. It seems we are damaging the world by extracting magic from the atmosphere. Magic helps regulate the planet, and it's part of a natural flow of energy. I'm going to try and convince the council to stop using the extractor so we can find a way to avoid permanently damaging the planet.
Following death.
No luck. The council didn't even attempt to listen. It's hardly a surprise since our society runs on magic. We use magic for power, for cooking food, even water is purified using magic. I'll try again tomorrow.
Log closed.
Since it's finished, what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, it's like a distorted radio signal kind of style, and then it's just a radio log to allow you to listen to it instead of having to read it. Something nice and a little bit extra. Again, so that was something that was recommended to me, and I completely agree that it would be better. So apart from that, these are the big things that have been added. Obviously, before I spoke about new enemies. I don't really want to show them too much, but I'll show one or two a little bit. So there are a total, I think, of 3 new enemies, a new resource style type, which I think I might be able to show, but I might not. But obviously, I mentioned the fear system, which is a new system that's in the game. There is also now a poison system. So now there's venom, there's poison, which is when you get attacked by something, or you get if you eat something that's poisonous, you'll take damage. It's roughly just less than half your health. So you can, if you get poisoned, you'll survive. It'll take you down to a little bit less than half, and then if you get poisoned again, you'll obviously still survive, but you'll be very, very in bad shape. It'll use a lot of food, so it's pretty damaging for your food, and especially for your health bar. So it's certainly a fun little thing that's added. The good thing about this poison is that it doesn't stack onto each other, it doesn't continue the length. So it's very much, once you get poisoned, you can't get poisoned again immediately, and it won't extend the time. So you can survive it, and you can run into other poison stuff, you can take other poisons, and it won't extend the time. At least it shouldn't extend the time. I'm just going to kill this guy once I wait until the bite is done. So yeah, hopefully this video is okay so far. Let's just kill him. Oh, we've got to wait again. Yeah, you can also, if I had the cooldown ball, that would be much more helpful. So there we go, he's dead. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly maybe just buy all the 3 speed upgrades, just so I can get a bit quicker. Reserved ability. And then see if I can get through this without too much hassle. We'll see. I believe it's over here. Yes, it is. So if I go through here, you'll notice that this it's not so safe now. There's certainly an enemy in here, and that is the moray eel, which are poisonous. As you can see, I've just been poisoned, and I can run into these again, and they won't do any continuous damage. Low page, low book, even low log. But yeah, I can run into them. As you can see, I lost quite a lot of health. Oh dear. Let's use that. But let's try and do it again, even though I'm on low health. And we'll try and avoid them this time, which is very, very difficult. But you most certainly can avoid these. They are avoidable if you control it enough. Oh, there we go. Come on. Yes. So there you go, if you avoid it enough, you'll get through and you'll encounter another enemy, which is very, very dangerous, which is the electric eel. The electric eel are very, very bad. They're probably the most dangerous enemy in the game. They will electrocute you, which will drop your shell, your shield, all the way to 0, or usually quite far if you don't have the upgrade, which is the shield upgrade that's further down the survival tree. And so it'll drop to 0. Really bad news, and also you'll take damage if you're very close proximity or hit by any of the electrical pellets that come out. Luckily there is a way of defeating them, but I'll leave it to you to decide to discover that. Oh. You'll also find that there are stonefish in here which you can eat. They'll give a random fish resource. They're quite nice, so if I take this will most certainly kill me. But I've gained a random resource, which was the bluefish. There we go. Wait until the poison's gone. Another quick thing to mention is that there's no longer an exploit where you could you could get a lot of resources, and then if you die you could just use them. So one of the things you could do is you could just, in here, you could, because it doesn't get rid of any of your resources in the past in this area, you could use all your resources for skill points and then respawn and then pay the one skill point toll. Now all your resources get wiped apart from your food balls. And you still have to pay a skill point, so it's a bit more damaging. Okay, so that's the main big things. I don't want to show any of the boss fight, and I don't want to show any of the deep sea changes or any of the big changes. You can simply find those for yourself, or look into the patch notes in the upgrades in the updates screen. So you can look at that yourself. You can explore and see what other changes there are. So I'm just going to quickly exit to my menu, and yeah, so thank you for all the support from my friends and family who have supported me, for all the people who have downloaded and installed this game, you know, over 500 times. Very, very happy, really pleased. The next update will be the exploration update, which I switched these around because someone recommended that it'd be better to do the combat stuff first. So the next update is the exploration update, and we'll be looking more into that probably in the future. I'm going to take a week break. After that I'll be probably doing a game jam or something along those lines, or something a bit more different, just as a break from this. Yeah, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.